When you visit the deserts of Dubai, you expect hot and dry conditions. When you drive a family hatchback, you expect it to be practical and sedate.
But today it's about 10 degrees. It looks like it's about to rain, so it's neither warm nor dry. And this will do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 4.4 seconds and has absolutely no door bins whatsoever. So not practical, nor is it sedate. The Tesla Model S 90D from 2017. Let's take a closer look.
What is the Tesla Model S 90D? Well, the Tesla Model S is a crossover of sorts, but not the SUV kind, blending the usability of a hatchback with the elegance of a coupe. The 90D stands for a 90 kilowatt-hour battery, giving us a range of about 300 miles, whilst the D stands for dual motors, so we have all-wheel drive.
Okay, so before we dive into any of the cool stuff, let's get all the practical stuff out of the way first. So here at the front we have a frunk where you get a little bit of space for your cables and whatever you want to put in there, I suppose. Then follow me to the back. So the Tesla comes as standard with 5 seats, although if you pay a little bit extra, you can actually get 2 more jump seats in the back, and I shall demonstrate this space now. So, you know me, I like to get into these boots, but this is actually the most comfortable boot I've ever sat in because there's somewhere for my feet to sit. So I'm not crouched up, I've got leg room, I've got somewhere to stretch out down here, and this whole space is actually big enough to fit a little suitcase like this. And have it completely hidden from view under a cover and still have space for all your other bags and bikes and whatever Tesla drivers carry around with them. Cables, lots of cables, yeah.
Aside from the fact that the Model S benefits from a very square floor and a practical hatchback, there's nothing else to talk about. No 12-volt sockets, no shopping bag hooks or straps, and no netting to stop smaller items from rattling about.
So the back seats, and first of all you notice of course this is a nice pretty big door with a very elegant frameless design, but the actual opening itself is very narrow. So if you're in a tight car park, you'll find getting in and out pretty awkward. Once you are in, you'll notice a lot of good stuff here. So this bench itself is nice and wide, also very flat, so if you have 3 passengers in the back, they'd all be very comfortable. There's just enough headroom for me. I'm about 5'6", so if you are average height or taller, you're going to struggle a little bit. The floor is nice and flat, so everyone's going to have plenty of leg room. So these things in terms of comfort, it's pretty good. The negatives, and there's a few of them. First of all, the fact that the floor itself is very high up due to the batteries. So you sit with your legs pretty high up, so on long journeys you kind of find yourself struggling to get comfortable.
And finally, you notice a lack of storage. No seat pockets, no door pockets, no door bins, and no armrest. Though there is a pair of USB ports to charge devices with, as well as a set of cup holders. Now, storage up front is pretty decent. As there's no transmission tunnel, instead you get a pretty deep console with bottle-sized dividers, there are 2 more cup holders in the front armrests, a pretty decent glove box, and a cubby under the display coated in rubber so that your keys and phone don't rattle about. Despite the Model S now being 5 years old, the interior really hasn't aged at all. It's dominated by this gorgeous 17-inch screen that takes every button away from the dashboard but 2. One for your hazard lights and the other to open the glove box.
But what Tesla have done is they've taken all your light controls, or your climate controls, and put it into the screen. If you want to switch on and off your headlights, or even your fog lights, because of course your lights are automatic, you have to go into your controls menu, find up where the lights are. You can see this is me struggling. Turn on the lights first of all, and then you've got the fog lights on. Now granted, this doesn't take a lot of time to do, but you're not paying attention to the road, so, you know, it's not exactly the safest thing to do.
And now, let's talk about the attention to detail that Tesla have given the Model S.
Oh, in this case, the lack of attention to detail. So a couple of examples. The seat here actually touches the armrest, so whenever you go around a really hard turn, it squeaks. The rubber seals around all the window sills don't quite align right, and it just doesn't look right to me. And most of the finishing touches on the dashboard look great, but the glove box, for example, doesn't quite align with the rest of the dashboard, so the lines are kind of broken there. But I guess I can forgive Tesla for that because of the fact that, of course, this is their first proper production car. I'm going to ignore the Roadster they had because that was kind of more of a prototype. But for a car that costs as much as the S-Class, the 7 Series, you'd kind of expect more attention to detail.
Okay, so now that all of that is out of the way, let's focus on what the Model S really excites us about, the driving. This model rides on an adjustable air suspension and massive 21-inch wheels covered in 275 width tires. There are currently just 2 driving modes on the 90D, Chill and Standard, and the latter will give you 0 to 62 miles an hour in just 4.4 seconds.
And this isn't even the fastest model they do. If you want the fastest model, that's the 100D, the P100D specifically, because that will do 0 to 62 miles an hour in just 2.4 seconds. Oh my shit! How do you think your passengers feel? Yeah, it's very tempting to constantly do that, but of course with that you'll ruin your range and your passengers will never want to take a ride with you again, which I guess might be a good thing. So if you want to buy a big car but don't want to carry passengers, this is the perfect car because no one will want to get in with you ever again.
Alright, so the Tesla is awesome to drive, but what about Autopilot? This is a feature that Tesla was heavily criticized for with the misleading name of the driver assistance feature. Version 1.0 had just one camera, and its abilities made it seem less like Autopilot and more like a very capable radar cruise control. Models built after October 2016 featured Autopilot 2.0, which has 8 cameras. That will give the Tesla the ability to become fully self-driving once legislation allows it. But for now, it acts as a very advanced driver assistance feature that will keep you central within a lane, is able to switch lanes, and is very aware of surrounding traffic. To get it to work,
all I have to do is pull the stock where the cruise control is twice. It makes that noise, and now my feet are off and my hands are off, and I can look you guys straight in the eye, I can look you guys straight in the eye, and yeah, here we are. Now this isn't perfect, it's called Autopilot, yes, but it's not actually driving the car itself, you're still responsible for that. It's only a driver assistance system, so here on the roundabout I have to take control, because otherwise I will go into that very nice palm tree. And I'm sure Dubai's council would not be very pleased about that.
Just imagine having all of your rush hour driving stresses taken care of for you, where soon you'll be able to set your Tesla to self-drive whilst you're in traffic, and you can be left to enjoy your breakfast and watch the miserable faces of everyone else in their dinosaur cars. Our time with the Tesla, however, has come to an end. After a long day of filming and testing, we headed to the last exit in Dubai, where we could treat the Model S to a Tesla Supercharger. This is currently Tesla's only supercharger in Dubai, and is capable of delivering over 300 miles of range in about 75 minutes. Now, that's enough time for you to enjoy a break at one of the most distinctive motorway stops in the world, before getting back on the motorway towards Abu Dhabi.
So what do I think of the Tesla overall? Well, what they've managed to do is they've managed to bring a car into the 21st century where you have instant software updates for little tweaks and bugs to be fixed. You could get into the car, drive off without even having to press a single button, and that's one of the coolest things about the car. Now, for a car that costs between 70 and 130,000 pounds, you can get a V12 powered BMW with 600 horsepower. But you know what? This has turned more heads than a red Ferrari or those G-Wagon AMGs or anything else out here in Dubai. And of course, Dubai is pretty well renowned for their crazy cars. So overall, the fact that driving this will give you the feeling that you are the fastest car there is here on the road, it's awesome. And for that, 130,000 pounds is nothing like what you'd pay for a Ferrari 488 or your Lamborghini Aventador. And for that, having 5 seats plus the potential for 2 extra can beat nothing else there is currently out there on the market. So Tesla have managed to create something completely unique, and the only place to get it is from Tesla, and this is it.
If you're looking at getting a Tesla and you wanted a cheeky discount as well as free supercharging for life, make sure to check the link in my bio below. And if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Have you driven a Tesla yet? What has your experience been like? Make sure to let me know in the comments below.